Moving into the new year, we at the Mortgage Note would like to help you shake off 2023 and head into 2024 with a fresh perspective. My name is Kimberley Haas, and I will be the host of this podcast. We want to share what we are seeing in the hopes that you will participate in future episodes, offering your insights. You can feel free to email me anytime at info@themortgagenote.org. At the Mortgage Bankers Association's annual convention and expo in Philadelphia this fall, there was hope, as it was projected that mortgage origination volumes will increase in 2024. Attendees said they were getting a lot out of the experience. We caught up with Todd Mackey, Vice President of Customer Success at SnapDocs.
Yeah, it's great. We always love coming out to MBA Annual. It's the best show in the industry to be able to see and meet, most of the important players that we're working with our customers and potential prospects. It's been a good show for us so far. We got a lot of traffic coming through the booth, which has been great, and a lot of good conversations and meetings that we're able to jump into as well.
But there was still a heavy feeling in the air, with many people subscribing to a survive until 25 mentality. So how do mortgage professionals overcome objections and win business in this current market? Ron Vainberg, international mortgage and real estate sales strategist and coach, says it's all about preparing for positive interactions with borrowers.
To me, the voice of optimism is really just changing the questions that you ask. So Kimberly, if you're a realtor and you're not in the greatest place, I'd say, Kimberly, are people buying homes right now? Yes. Are people selling homes right now? Yes. Then it's not the inventory. It's how do we capture a portion of that market? How do we find those people? How do we look for those people? How do we build our network so more people know you're a real estate professional and I'm a mortgage professional? If we do that, do you believe that the more people that know what you do for a living increases the odds on you doing more business even in this market? And everybody I ever teach that asks that to a realtor always gets, well, yes. So that's it's not pie in the sky. It's just shifting mindset over something you can control versus something you can't. In regard to people who are fence sitting waiting for interest rates to come down, loan officers have to become better at communicating why buying now can make sense.
Right.
There's no shortage of everybody, or not everybody, of loan originators out there saying, buy now, doing the comparison, the financial comparison between buy now versus buy later. And they're talking about home price appreciation, and they're talking about all the numbers that what it could cost you if you wait. And that's a completely logical approach. And if you look at the numbers, the likelihood of it making sense is very high financially. The big gap that's missing where my clients are having the greatest success is when they add in this part that I tell them to add in. And they have to add in the emotion. And they're not. So if you're talking to somebody who's staying on the fence, there's two scenarios I'm going to give you. Scenario number one is, were you trying to buy a home in 2020 and 2021? And the answer is either going to be yes or no. If they say yes, then I'd ask, why didn't you buy a home? Say, well, I couldn't get an offer except that the home prices were going up like crazy. Said, with everybody sitting on the sidelines right now, we have a record number of people waiting for interest rates to drop. When rates start coming down, every time there's a movement, more and more people will jump into the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And everybody says yes. Where do you want to be on that line? Because the line's going to start again where people are going to be bidding up houses. Because the inventory still is not moving. It's not growing. But if you buy a house now, If you buy a house now, you're going to ride the values going up and also simultaneously take advantage of lowering your mortgage payment at the same time.
Right.
Is there any other investment that you could ever have that kind of opportunity where it'll cost you less to own the asset while the asset grows? And then I'd ask people, I go, if the bidding wars start and you don't own a home, how would you feel if you miss out on buying a home again? When you start asking the emotional questions, you're getting past the numbers. And the reason why this is such a powerful strategy is because the majority of human beings makes decisions emotionally and they justify their decisions with logic.
I could instantly connect with that, but like, what's the connection with somebody who's trying to logic their way out of it? You know what I mean? Like they say, oh, well, I'll wait for interest rates to drop, and I don't believe in the marry the house, date the rate thing. You know, how do you get that emotional connection with somebody who's trying to logic you back?
Okay. Well, the first thing that I would do is I'm the salesperson. If you said to me, Ron, I don't believe in the marry the property, date the rate. The first thing I'd say, Kimberly, me personally, I hate that phrase. Okay, because nobody's marrying a property. We marry people. We don't marry properties. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
I'm going to say, first of all, we don't want. And that's an objection you're giving. And the secret to overcoming objections, you always agree. You always acknowledge the objection. Don't have to agree with it, but you acknowledge it. I understand, Kimberly, exactly how you feel. Me personally, the whole phrase of marry the property, date the rate has been abused and overused in the mortgage space. And I will never, by realtors and loan officers, and I will tell you, I will never say that. So the first thing now I've done is I've gotten into alignment with you. Then what I would do is I would simply say, so tell me a little bit more about the numbers that you've run that you feel waiting would save you money. Okay, and then you're going to give me some feedback. I don't know what you're going to say, but you're going to give me some feedback. But then I'd say, okay, now if we do it this mathematically, because what you're doing, Kimberly, is you're coming at me at a mathematical way. So I say, if we do this mathematically, would you agree that every time interest rates lower, especially by 0.5 or 1%, I mean, statistics already show this, that we see an increase in the number of buyers on the sidelines coming in, showing up at open houses and making offers. I mean, that's statistically proven. I'm not sure. I'm talking to you as a customer right now, Kimberly. Are you aware of that, or can you see how that would be happening?
Yeah.
No. Okay. So how much do interest rates have to drop for you to come back into the market? And you're going to say 2% or whatever it is. I'll say, okay. So you already know that there's going to be more people in the market that came in at 1% before you ever come back in. What do you think that will do to home prices? Do you think it will escalate the level of appreciation and how fast homes are moving up? And see, my whole key is I'm ready for your answer. If you say, well, I'm not really sure, I'll say, well, in 2020 and 2021, these were the appreciation numbers. Typical appreciation runs about 4% per year. Yeah, I'm going to have my data. I'm always going to have my data prepared for whoever I'm speaking with. So I am staying logic focused until they're agreeing me with the numbers. And then I'll say, although nothing's a guarantee, do you agree that rates at some point will come down once you own a home and that you will be able to refinance and lower your monthly payment? You're going to say, yeah. Will it bother you if you end up buying a home that has gone up more than you would have saved on waiting for an interest rate to come down?
Right.
See, a person who's very logical, I'm not going to say how is it going to make you feel because those words are not going to connect with their heart. But people who are logical will often use the words, things bother me.
New technology should be able to help in 2024. Artificial intelligence is enhancing the way major players in the industry do business. In December, leaders at Rocket Homes, the real estate service arm of Rocket Companies, announced their new app that works with Apple CarPlay. It gives drivers the ability to turn the everyday commute into a natural part of the home buying journey. Sam Vita, president and founder of Rocket Homes, told us more about the app and why they are embracing AI at Rocket.
With our partnership with Apple, we released, as you know, the very first of its kind consumer-facing real estate integration with Apple CarPlay. And what's really cool, one of the things that we love about it is you can go from sitting on the couch, looking at things on your Rocket Homes mobile app, looking at homes. You can go from couch to car. And as soon as you enter your car, Apple CarPlay automatically and dynamically shows everything that you've been doing on the dashboard. So you don't have to log in. Everything's seamless. Your phone can be in your pocket, but because of the CarPlay integration, it knows you're in the car. It knows who you are. It knows the homes that you've been looking at maybe minutes before. And as you begin driving, based on your location, you're getting a real-time feed on your dashboard of homes nearby your car. And what's, again, really interesting is that, hey, how do we do this? How do we access this really interesting experience and do it in a safe way? And you can only imagine, especially when you're thinking about doing something so innovative and you're entering the space of the car, safety is a big deal. So this wasn't something we took lightly, and we took our time on this, and we really worked closely with Apple because Apple feels the same way we do. And Apple has really, stringent safety protocols with any of their apps that they allow to integrate with CarPlay for all the reasons we just outlined. So what was really cool is that we were able to take the home buying, home ownership, experience from couch to car without having to do anything other than sitting in the car, closing your door and turning it on. The experience follows you. You're able to, see homes that are in the market while you're in your car. And instead of stopping or having to find a pen and paper or, take a picture of the sign in the yard of the house that you're interested in, the home will actually show up on your dashboard. And if you like it, you can actually click our favorite button and it saves that property and all of the information in your favorites. So later on, when you get out of the car or you're parked and you pull out the app, all of that information transfers back to the mobile app in real time. So it's an extension of the experience, not a departure. And that's what we're most proud of.
So this is just one example of how technology is revolutionizing the home buying space. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Rocket to stay on the forefront of technology as things rapidly change?
Yeah, sure. And, as I'm an executive of Rocket Companies, more specifically of Rocket Homes, so I can speak more towards what Rocket Homes is doing.
Yeah.
But I think thematically, there are things that, you'll hear me say that would be relevant for Rocket Mortgage or any company that's making sure that they're evolving and serving consumer needs in this very tech and more specifically AI focused environment that we've entered. When it comes to technology, when it comes to AI, it's impossible to avoid, right? It's one of those things that you really have to realize, it's like nature. You have to accept it and you have to understand it. So we've taken a position at Rocket to really lean in and make sure that, we've always been tech focused, obviously, but with newer technologies becoming more available with the emergence of AI and how accessible it has become to companies and people, even in the last 12 months. Philosophically, we decided as a leadership team, we're going to lean in and, we're going to seek first to understand and really spend time on understanding the technology, how it can aid a consumer, how it can aid an agent partner, also some of the things that we have to be careful of, right? Because it's still a newer technology. So how do you strike that balance to make sure you're moving forward, you're learning, you're helping, and you're also not making critical mistakes? There's not a single answer to get you there, but it takes the mindset, the principles to make sure that you're doing it the right way. For us, we've always taken the position to say, look, when it comes to real estate and, in mortgage for that matter, but certainly in real estate, it's a highly emotional experience. It's one of those things that you don't do every day, but when you do, it's emotional. It can feel like things are fragmented. You're talking to all these different parties. Sometimes you're talking to the same person about the same thing because maybe they forgot, information you shared with them a day before. Often there's a lot of paperwork that you have to, exchange. Sometimes you got to exchange the same paperwork over and over again because of some of these fundamental inefficiencies of our current state. We see things like AI taking some of those really administrative elements of the entire home buying and selling experience. And AI, we think, can actually do those things much better, right? So, our new CEO says, let AI do what AI is good at, let humans do what humans are good at. So if we can enable AI to do some of these low complexity but important things off of humans, well, then that will enable a human to do the things that they're really good at. What does that mean? Well, conflict resolution, dealing with high stress situations, understanding the consumer's needs, digging deep around what's really what the consumer's really needing or what they might be worried about. Spending time building relationships with your consumers or your agent partners. These are really fundamental elements of life, certainly of the path to homeownership. And the way we're positioning it is, look, if AI can enable these great humans to do more of that human stuff by removing some of these more, mundane, important, but low complexity items, that's a good thing. So, maybe that means a real estate agent, instead of, selling X number of homes per year, can sell Y number of homes per year.
We look forward to seeing what 2024 brings us. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, we want to hear from you. Please feel free to email me at info@themortgagenote.org. Once again, my name is Kimberley Haas. Have a great day.